the road, now so I go. I say, no hold up for me matter as long as I listen to traffic radio. No traffic for me matter as long as I tune to traffic radio. So I go, now so I go. I say, now so I go.
News from Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM, moving Lagos forward.
Good day. Here's the news at noon. First, the highlights. Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency sets sights on Ikeja for landmark tree planting initiative. Nigeria Education Loan Fund to extend scheme to vocational skill acquisition programs. On the foreign scene, thousands protest against government in Mexico as clashes leave 120 people injured. And in sport, Super Eagles head coach confident of team's performance against Democratic Republic of Congo in 2026 World Cup playoff. Now the details. I am John Omoaka. Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency, LASPAC, has stepped up collaboration with Ikeja local government to create greener, cleaner, and more sustainable public spaces across the state. The move followed a courtesy visit by LASPAC's General Manager, Adeto Popola, to the Executive Chairman of Ikeja local government, Akeem Dauda, at the Ikeja Secretariat with the aim to strengthen institutional ties and explore joint initiatives in environmental beautification, urban renewal, and community-focused green development. Popola revealed plans to plant 25,000 trees across Lagos by July 2026, with Ikeja expected to host at least 5,000 trees, raised concerns about indiscriminate tree felling, particularly in the GRA, urging improved enforcement of tree management laws. Key areas identified for greening include the Ikeja Underbridge Corridor, community open spaces, and major public setbacks. On his part, Executive Chairman of Ikeja local government, Akeem Dauda, described the visit as timely, noting that the local government has already earmarked several locations for beautification, including the Underbridge stretch, Loma Corridor, Lasu perimeter, and setbacks from the Secretariat to Simbiat Abiola Road. Lagos State government has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to eradicating poverty and unemployment among the state's youth and graduates by prioritizing digital and entrepreneurship knowledge. Commissioner for Tertiary Education, Tolani Sule, said this while addressing undergraduate students from state-owned tertiary institutions during the state government-sponsored Job Initiative Lagos JIL program at the Lagos State University, LASU, Ojo campus. Sule said the state government, under the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is resolute in implementing the Themes Plus agenda and will not allow students graduating from state institutions to be left behind in the dynamic, digitally dominated global landscape. He urged them to justify the government's investment by contributing significantly to the economic and productive sectors of the state in the future, thus fostering the overall development of Lagos. Skulls of terrorists have been neutralized in Zamfara State after Nigerian Air Force NAF fighter jets bombed their enclave at Sauri Safe local government area of the state. The strikes also destroy terrorists' critical structures and logistics points, a move that may likely wither the criminals' operational capability in the area. This came a day after Minister of State for Defense, Bello Metawalle, announced that the federal government has deployed additional troops and ordered decisive action against armed groups across the state. Now spokesperson Ehime Ejodame said the strikes were conducted on November 14 after comprehensive intelligence and surveillance operations confirmed significant terrorist activity concealed in a high-ground hideout used as both a defensive position and a logistics hub. He also said multiple coordinated strikes on the identified targets achieved direct hits that dislodged surviving terrorists who attempted to flee into surrounding vegetation but were subsequently tracked and effectively engaged. And now to the rest of the stories. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has announced plans to extend its students' loan scheme to cover vocational and skills acquisition programs. Managing Director of NEL Fund, Akintunde Sawyer, said the extension aligns with the federal government's broader education and skills development agenda. Sawyer said the move also reflects President Bola Tinubu's commitment to inclusive human capital development beyond traditional university education. He explained that while NEL Fund had primarily focused on providing financial support to students in tertiary institutions since its launch, plans were underway to expand access to individuals enrolled in vocational and technical programs across the country. Lagos State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, says the party under President Bola Tinubu is consolidating reforms, strengthening institutions, and delivering governance to the people. This is contained in a statement signed by spokesperson Sheye Oladejo in a reaction to the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, held in Ibadan, Oyo State. The statement says the boycott of the convention by notable leaders of the PDP, including incumbent state governors, is louder than any communique or resolution. It also notes the absence of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to monitor the event. And now to foreign news. At least 120 people have been injured in clashes during anti-government protests in Mexico City. Thousands of demonstrators marched in the Mexican capital on Saturday to protest against violent crime and President Claudia Sheinbaum's government. Sheinbaum said the marches, which took place in other cities, had been funded by right-wing politicians who opposed her government. The rally was organized by Gen Z youth groups, drawing support from citizens protesting against high-profile killings, including the assassination just weeks ago of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo, who had called for tough action against cartels. Now sports. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell says he is convinced that his players have improved both technically and mentally. This is as they assure that they will avoid making the same mistakes they have made in the match against Gabon when they play Democratic Republic of Congo in the 2026 World Cup CAF playoff final at the Moulay Hassan Stadium in Rabat today. The Super Eagles were taken to extra time in the semi-final tie against Gabon last Thursday after an error led to Mario Lemina scoring an 89th minute equalizer. Chell said the most important thing for his team is to create an identity. And that's our news at noon. But just before we go, do not park or near a road crossing. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms. X at Traffic Radio 961. Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on my Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration completed and inaugurated 384 capacity multi-level car park at Omoaka, Lagos? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency, LASPAC, has stepped up collaboration with Ikeja local government to create greener, cleaner, and more sustainable public spaces across the state. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has announced plans to extend its student loan scheme to cover vocational and skills acquisition programs. We also told you that at least 120 people have been injured in clashes during anti-government protests in Mexico City. And in sports, Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell is convinced that his players have improved both technically and mentally ahead match against Democratic Republic of Congo in the 2026 World Cup playoff final at the Moulay Hassan Stadium in Rabat today. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Zainab Adibeshi. I am John Omoaka. Thank you very much for listening.